Okay, there we go. What's going on, Joshua? How you doing, man?
Hey, I'm doing good.
So, really quick, just so people know as well, I do just
Yeah.
want you to, introduce yourself. Who are
Mhm.
you? Where are you from?
Okay.
Hobbies, jobs, things like that. Just anything about you. How old are you? That way people know, like,
Mhm.
where you're at.
Oh, well, I am 22. My name is Joshua Thompson. I live over in Washington, so a bit north of Seattle in Linwood. And I have just been doing kind of the program since this year, January, so it hasn't been that long,
Mhm.
but it's been pretty awesome experience. I'm a hairstylist, so a lot of fun things going on.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, so January, obviously right now is May, so that's about like 5 months. So not even
Yeah,
that long since you've been on
no,
your fitness
not
journey
long at
right
all.
now. Yeah.
Hmm.
So I guess like going back to just like where you're at, the first thing I want to kind of know is, what does your biggest goal like, pretty much going into the program and basically where that
Hmm.
came from for you. So what was your
Yeah.
biggest goal for you, like you starting out, and
Mhm.
I guess like why did you choose this goal, right? What do you feel like is the
Yeah.
that was like, okay, like this is
Mhm.
why I want to get to this goal?
It's a really good question. So it kind of has to take me back to the beginning of my fitness journey. So in my family, like no one really does any form of fitness. I grew up with all sisters.
Mhm.
So all that matters is they had a good looking face, and then who cares? Just don't get fat. It
Yeah.
was sort of the idea. And I was the exact opposite of fat. I was as thin as anyone could ever be. And then I had some times where I was moving around a lot. So I was living with a lot of different roommates, a lot of different guys. And I was like, dang, I kind of wish that I could work out, but no, I'm too skinny. There's no way anything could ever happen.
Mhm.
And so I'm just this absolute stick. And I mean, I'm skinny now, but man, was I skinny.
Yeah.
But I decided that, I wanted to be able to, be able to put on mass, be able to go to the gym, feel confident, but it just felt like something I couldn't really do.
Mhm.
And so then when I finally came to a
Mhm.
point where I found out like people kind of believed that it was possible for me and kind of saw that through like the program, like, hey, like this isn't just something that you can imagine is possible. Like this is something that you can have. I was like, I want to be in complete control of like my body. Like I want to be able to put on weight. I want to be able to have control over my food and my diet and know what my body's doing and that kind of knowledge and control so that I'm not just sitting there like, oh, that's something I can never have. I just
Yeah.
wanted to be able to understand that. And that's something that was very particular to this program because you're not just, you know, just eating and then going to the gym. Like you're actually understanding why you're doing it. And there's a
Mhm.
whole lot more depth behind it and a whole lot more education.
Mhm.
And so you're not just leaving this program with just basic, like, oh, I look better. Of course, you're going to look so much better in the program, but
Mhm.
you're actually going to be educated and you're going to know why. And
Yeah.
you're going to have control over your body in that way.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that you say that too, because I feel the complete same way when I was kind of starting out, because
Mm-hmm.
I think you have that idea in your head right before you even get started. Like you see other people making more progress, like in the gym. Maybe you go to the gym once, you see other people, and you're
Mm-hmm.
like, oh shit, like like it's impossible for me. Like I've never been that way. Nobody in my family has been that way. None of my friends. So like it makes
Mm-hmm.
sense that you don't think it's possible because you don't really have anybody close to you that's done it,
Literally.
right? You just see these
Um,
transformations online. It's like, oh, that's like one in a million. That's probably not gonna happen to me. But
yeah.
I think it's really important as well because with what you said, you started off with saying just like you actually understanding like, okay, I'm not just eating for this or that. I'm actually understanding like the
Mm-hmm.
process, the science behind it. I think
Mm-hmm.
that's really important as well because as you know, like everything is just a formula, right? Like
Exactly.
when it comes to actually like getting to your goals of fitness, I mean, not now
Mm-hmm.
you know that, right? But for a lot of people, they really don't think that that's
Mm-hmm.
possible. So I kind of want to start off with this, right? So, like,
Mm-hmm.
where you at, like, I guess, like in your fitness journey before
Oh
like
gosh.
the program? Yeah, like where were you at? So,
Oh man.
how were you?
So
How was your energy
yeah.
levels, body, mindset, discipline, and things like that?
Gosh, was I a mess. Okay. So I had started my journey at like 18. And so that's kind of where I was attempting to finally make changes. And it had just been so ridiculous. Endless yo-yo dieting, tracking macros and calories, doing such huge, crazy diets, going to the gym for hours and hours and hours and not getting anything done. It
Yeah.
was just ridiculous. So right before the program, I had just come back from, I was over serving a mission over in Kansas, and then I get back and I had kind of just been getting frustrated because I'd spent so much time and honestly so much energy. Like I was extremely disciplined. I'd been tracking my macros and my calories for
Yeah.
years. And I was so confused why things weren't working. And I was kind of at that point where I was bounced back to the thought, maybe this is impossible for me.
Mhm.
And I had done some coaching, I've done some stuff, and it was all just, felt so fake. It felt so like they just took my money,
Mhm.
and I was just like kind of hopeless.
Mhm.
And then I talked with one of my friends and I saw that he was having a lot of success. And I was like, dang, like, what are you doing? And then he told me about it, told me about the program, and I was so hesitant. You know how the whole thing went with me. I was like
Yeah.
so like skeptical, and I was like freaking out because I had just had another coaching place like kind of take my money and kind of not really done a good job.
Mhm.
And so I was really, really worried. But then I made the commitment to myself and I understood, this is really going to change my life.
Mhm.
And so I wanted to have more energy. I wanted to feel confident. I wanted to look good. And I wanted to just be able to follow my dreams and not be like held back and have real support.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna do it. So I purchased and got into the program, and that money has been some of the best I think I've ever spent in my life.
Yeah.
I don't think that there's a better investment that I've made. People looked at me and were like a little bit like, why would you spend money on fitness? Like, why would you spend money on that? And I mean, if they see the difference, then they definitely know why I spent the money.
Yeah.
I not just the way I look, how I feel. Um, People don't realize how much mental health is connected to your fitness.
Mhm.
Like you feel good about yourself, and you're feeling good because of the food you're putting in your body, because of going and working out. You feel like you look like a Greek god at the end of
Yeah.
out, like those types of things. Like it's honestly such a great time.
Yeah.
So it's pretty much one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life. So
Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. Well, I
yeah.
definitely appreciate that. And I know like for you, right? Because I do feel the same way because I feel like a lot of people looking at it from the outside perspective, because obviously the reason why I got started was I was in pain, right? Everyone usually gets
Mhm.
started because either they're in pain of like not being confident, really hating the way they looked, or not even wanting to, not being comfortable even with a shirt on, right? Because the shirt fits weird, right? So like those small things, like
So true.
I don't yeah, absolutely. And it's like, when other people say that to you, like, like why would you even invest your money in this? Or why would you even invest your time and, put so much energy and money into this? They don't really know like what happens in your head, right? They don't know the insecurities. They don't know
Mhm.
you going out and not really feeling confident, because that's the way I felt before I even started my fitness
Mhm.
journey. And I know how that feels, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, so that's why I feel like, obviously like with other people, they don't really understand that.
Yeah.
And for you, right? Like,
Mhm.
kind of going back, because I know you mentioned obviously going into the program, the main
Mhm.
thing that you really wanted was energy levels, obviously your mindset, your mental health and things like that, and just confidence
Mhm.
in general, right? That was the biggest thing.
Mhm.
So going back to before, right, when you were in the well before the coaching
Mhm.
program, before the transformation program, what do you feel like for you was just the biggest
Mhm.
challenge with fitness before like joining the
Yeah.
transformation for program for you?
Ugh, I thought like that there was no real answers
Mhm.
because I had spent hours and hours and hours researching fitness, all these different YouTube channels, and I felt like I was pretty like knowledgeable, like I understood the things behind macros and the yo-yo dieting, yet somehow I just never was when I tried to implement it, it wasn't working because I wasn't tailoring it to my body.
Mhm.
I didn't really understand how to take that information that was so mixed, because you know how YouTube is. They'll say so many different things, but none of it's really tailored to you.
Yeah.
And I never really understood how to make a difference with my body because I wanted big results. I would love to just get on stage one day is like a big deal for me because I'd like
Absolutely.
to show, like anyone can do this. I had people tell me like, oh man, like if you keep working out, you're gonna look like the small like Captain America. Like you got this. And I
Yeah.
was like, oh, how it's like, I wanted to be able to, bodybuild and to be able to do that, but I felt like it was impossible.
Mhm.
And I think that a lot of it is you give up too quickly.
Mhm.
And I think that you need to remember that if you are wanting to have a real change physically, you need to so bad, you need to commit.
Mhm.
Because when I started the program, I actually lost weight.
Mhm.
As weird as that seems, when I started the program, I actually was 150, still
Mhm.
so light. And then I lost 2 pounds as I was increasing my calories
Mhm.
because we weren't just destroying my metabolism when we were starting off. We were going up slowly and incrementally, and we were understanding how to work with my body. And
Mhm.
then my body started responding so much happier. It
Mhm.
was just so much better. So
Mhm.
I think it's just being able to understand what you really need to be doing and sticking to it is
Mhm.
really difficult.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like a lot of people too, being in that stage, because a lot of people like the way I like to think about it, right, is when it comes to just like getting to your fitness journey, it's like if you think about it, like a lot of people once they, let's say you're trying to gain weight, they lose maybe 2 pounds, or you're trying to lose weight, maybe you gain a pound the first week, and or you don't lose anything, right? A lot of people, they get discouraged in that, and they think that, okay, fuck, I failed. Right, like right
Yeah.
off the bat, they're just like, I failed, right? So, and that's I feel like where the mindset of looking at it long term is really really important, because as you know this, right, you've made so much results, but you don't get results every single week, right?
No.
It's like like if that was the case, then 5 months you're gonna be a bodybuilder by now, right? Like you would be
Exactly. It's like,
massive.
I just gained 3 pounds of muscle every
Yeah,
week. Don't you worry
exactly.
about
Yeah,
it.
absolutely. And that's the thing, right? I feel like a lot of people just really, really want it quick, quick, quick. And I feel like
Oh
that's
yeah.
the main reason why a lot of people do fail.
Uh, yeah.
And ever since you joined the transformation program,
Mhm.
what do you feel like is just the biggest thing that you've achieved, like physically, mentally,
Mhm.
how you feel confident, like just pretty much everything about your life? What do you feel
Yeah.
like is just the biggest thing that you've achieved so far,
Oh
um,
man.
compared to what you were
The
doing,
biggest.
how you were before, and how
Mhm.
do you feel now?
I think trust and commitment are two huge things because one, I feel truly able to trust my coach.
Mhm.
Like the amount of money that you spend is actually nothing. Like it's so little for what you're getting
Mhm.
because you are getting someone who is someone you can trust, and I just am able to trust that my coach knows what I'm going to do even if I feel like I'm doubting it. I never really have to worry at the end of the day because I know that what he's telling me is going to get help me to get bigger
Mhm.
because it's making me larger.
Mhm.
And honestly, that's like a really really huge thing.
Mhm.
um I honestly feel like also just as you're able to build greater trust, that you're going to be really, really able to keep moving forward, a lot
Yeah.
more of that commitment,
Yeah.
because that's kind of the other thing that I really, really needed was to eat the right food every single day, to
Mhm.
go into the gym and to put the effort in every single day. And that type of commitment is something that doesn't just stay in fitness.
Mhm.
It goes everywhere else.
Mhm.
And that's something that is a life lesson that a lot of people really struggle with in this day and age is
Mhm.
to commit to something and really put in the work.
Mhm.
But it's going to affect every other part of your life, your job, your anything that you want to pursue, relationships.
Yeah.
Commitment is so essential, and you
Yeah.
get that here.
Absolutely. And I love that you say that too, because a lot of people, especially with like, having to trust a coach, like
Mhm.
we've helped over 450 people get to their dream body, but at the same time, I have a coach. Coach Carson, he also has a coach, right?
Yep.
And my coach, who's a high level bodybuilding coach, he has a coach. And then that coach, he has a coach.
Yeah,
And Mr.
you
Olympia, he has
need
a
to
coach.
have someone guiding you. You
Yeah,
got body
absolutely.
dysmorphia, you got the stuff going on in your head.
Yeah.
Like you gotta get someone to keep you straight.
Yeah, 100%. And I feel like that's where a lot, especially men, this is what
Mhm.
what I see the most. Obviously, like more men have a big ego where it's like, oh, I can do it all myself,
Oh man, did
Uh,
I?
yeah, so it's like, like a lot of people do have that, right? It's like I can do it
Mhm.
all myself. I don't need anybody, right? And that's
Mhm.
realistically that type of mindset is what stops most people from actually getting to their full
So true.
potential. So like
Mhm.
you having that big ego, that stops you from getting it from to
Yeah.
your full potential, right? Which I
Mhm.
feel like a lot of people don't really see.
Yeah.
And since obviously right now you've your mindset is completely freaking changed, right? Since we've started,
Yeah.
I can just I could literally feel like just confidence in your voice, I guess you could say, with just like how you say things. And I think as well, that's the biggest thing that fitness has taught me. Obviously, you gaining 12 pounds of muscle, and you look leaner and you look bigger at the same time, which is freaking
I know
crazy.
it's crazy. I don't know how this
Yeah.
stuff works, but it's working.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I feel like that's what the biggest thing that fitness teaches as well is the way you do one thing is the way you do everything, right?
Very,
So the way you do one thing is the way you do everything. Like I even talk about like small things like, fixing your bed in the morning or just like,
yeah.
brushing your teeth the best you can because that will translate to everything else in your life. And I feel like for
Mhm.
me, I mean, as well as you from what you said, right? I'm sure you can relate. It's like it teaches you that okay, if you actually want something and you put effort every single day towards that something, you will actually get results, right? If you commit to it like long term, if you commit to it that okay, no
Mhm.
matter what, I will get here, which I feel like is really
Mhm.
really really powerful.
Yeah.
But now since you've been through this transformation, obviously
Mhm.
you're still going through this transformation. You made a lot of results so far. What would be like your advice? I would say to
Mhm.
other people as well.
Mhm.
Whether it's like starting just going to the gym for the first
Yeah.
time or not even just about the program, maybe about the program who's kind of on the fence about it, right?
Yeah.
What do you feel like would you say to those people and would you
Yeah.
recommend a friend to go to this program and why?
So I have a lot of people in my life that, I see the difficulty of fitness and I hear them talk about the difficulty of fitness and how, oh, like no matter how hard I try, nothing's changing. And the struggle that they deal with is so sincere because I see them eating nothing, but I see them doing a lot of the same things that I was doing.
Yeah,
And putting yourself through so much pain that you don't have to.
yeah,
Like you don't keep wasting your time. You don't have to dream of having results anymore. Like the resources is here. Just stop taking another year of your life just and wasting it.
hmm,
Don't wait for the results to come. Let someone else do it. Let someone else take your hand with it. Let go of your pride. That's a huge thing. You need to let go of your pride and realize you don't know everything. Because I thought I knew a lot. I
yeah,
mean, I have spent years looking into this type of stuff, yet I still couldn't get results.
yeah,
And I mean, I was trying hard. People had called me crazy the whole time. Like
hmm,
that never stopped because I
yeah,
tracked the calories. I weighed every little gram of
mhm,
everything. You don't know it all. And there are things that you're blind to. You're blind to body dysmorphia. You're blind to a lot of the times you don't necessarily know everything about the food you're putting into your body, or maybe you're not specifically doing the right things. You
yeah,
don't know workouts perfectly all the time. You might hurt yourself. There are so many things that you're causing yourself useless grief for. And so, because of that, you need to let go of your pride. You need to decide that you want the results and you want them now
hmm,
and just for it. Don't waste another second because if you do, that's another second of your life you're not getting back.
hmm,
When it could have been a second of your life that you're putting towards and you're investing in yourself. There's no better place to put your money than
hmm,
to invest in your future.
hmm,
And so that's just, I mean, I recommend to anyone who wants a real change, who wants it now, but only if you're truly willing to commit.
yeah.
If you're not willing to make the change and it's not something you're really willing to prioritize, I get it. But if you want that change, start now. Like, don't waste your time.
Absolutely. I feel like, it's on top of that, it's like you've been through you've been through that road before. Most people
Mhm.
have been through that road before where they try to do it themselves,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Think that's really important for people to know. Like, you did something before. Okay, you want to do the same thing now. Like, what do you feel like? You're gonna be doing the same thing with expecting a different
Mhm.
outcome. It doesn't make sense. Yeah. And like for you now, so obviously right
Mhm.
now, you've had a lot of words of encouragement for people who are listening. So if I was to ask you right now that you
Mhm.
are obviously making results, not only
Mhm.
that, but your mindset's completely changed.
Mhm.
What's the next step for you? What's the for the future for you? What's the next step? What do you feel like is a dream of yours now
Mhm.
that it's given you confidence to do more?
Absolutely. I mean, there's so many things that I'm able to do now, and it's really exciting. Um, Fitness is more enjoyable, so I like to be able to push towards my goals to work hard, put on more mass until I can get on stage and feel confident about being on stage. With that, I do a lot of like modeling for my own business, so being able to do that with confidence, going anywhere that I go, feeling like I can be okay with how I look, it's a huge blessing, and it's something that is I know is done through the program. So I have so many takeaways
Yeah.
from all the stuff that I've gotten, but I'd say some of the big things that's opened up a lot for me is just freedom with my body and my mind. I'm in control, not anxiety, not anything like that. I'm the one who's able to know what's going to happen with my body, and I can know every day that I'm doing the right thing, and I'm not wondering,
Yeah.
am I going to make a change? I know that I am. And that is extremely freeing. So the next step is to keep making those changes, to keep being the best version of my natural self I can be in this life, and to do it in a way where I'm feeling good every single day. I never feel tired. I never feel like worn out. Of course, everyone feels tired, but not from what I'm doing, because I did before. I mean, I felt awful, depressed, and those are things that are behind me. And so now I know that every time I change and get better, like the future's only brighter.
Yeah.
And so that's something I'm really, really excited about.
Awesome, awesome. I love that. There's a I feel like with your answers as well, there's a lot of like words of encouragement to the people. So I feel like that's definitely a lot of value. I love that.
Oh,
So that being said, how can people find you if I know you mentioned you have the business as well. If you want to plug that, you can definitely
oh,
plug that.
I
And
mean,
you also have your fitness Instagram. So how can people find you if they ever have questions just about anything?
yeah, if you want any questions or if you want to talk about getting into the program, I mean, you can just straight up go to you. I mean, they're right here. So
Yeah.
first sign up for that. But if you want to see kind of what my journey is like, it's JHT_fitness_journey. And then my business handle is a costume commission page. So it's a bit silly, but it's Oracle Sen Cosplay. That's all one word on Instagram and on Facebook. So if you're interested in any of that, go ahead and hit me up.
All right. Awesome, Joshua. That being said, we will end it here, and I'll see you guys later.